Hi guys, thanks for joining me for day 4 of holiday fun. And today what we're doing is we're upcycling thrifted sweaters. So here's one that you've seen kind of the picture of floating around. I have some pom-poms that were left over from the garland. So I decided to put the pom-poms on the bottom of the sweater, which is super fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but it's still super fun to have for your little holiday sweater, ugly sweater party. Anyways. So what I'm going to show you today is how to do these cute little flowers up here on the sweater. So you can do this to anything, like sweatpants, jeans, whatever. I mean, the concept is the same. It's literally a piece of thread and you just kind of embroider your own little pattern. So this cute little flower, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So the first thing you're going to need is whatever yarn you're using. You can use yarn, you can use embroidery floss. For this, because it's a chunky kind of knit sweater, I went with, you're just knitting yarn, but you could do an embroidery yarn or embroidery floss, whatever you call it. So, and then I have here also a knitting needle. This would be like your tapestry needle. The nice thing about it is pretty big. You can get this from like Michael's for, I think I think they give you like a pack of 2 of them for like $1. So that's very, very affordable. And then just some scissors. So first thing you want to do is I like to take it and I like to, if you see, I will go from my wrist to my shoulder. That's about the length you want. Okay. And then, yeah. It's probably about good. And just take it. It's probably about 2.5 feet, ideally. It's kind of what you want. And then go ahead and thread your needle. So, very easy to do when your thread is like small and your eye of your needle is pretty big. So I don't tie it in a knot at the end because here's why. So take over your sweater. Bring it over here so you can look. So if I take a look at this, like where would I want to add a flower? And I think I would like to add maybe another one. I could do it up here. So maybe another one like right here, I think is a good spot. So without tying a knot in the end, what you're going to do is you're going to start your thing, come from the back, and I like to leave a tail of about 2 inches back here, and I'm going to hold that thread. Because it's so chunky, if you did a knot, the knot would just pull right through. So I'm holding that thread back here so it can't pull out. Now, what I basically do is you kind of do like 5 points on a pinwheel. So if you go, so like here's 1, so point 1, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through that same hole that I came out of to start. So there's my first point. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to cinch the fabric. You just want it to lay flat. So then I think another point would be right here. So back through. So think like a spokes on a wheel. And don't pull too tight. So there's 2 spokes back through that same hole. Then here. That looks good. Back through that same center hole. So there's 3 spokes of my flower. Now let's see, maybe over here. I'm still holding that thread in the back, but I could probably let go of it by now. Okay, there's 4, so we see the 4 spokes so far, and then our last spoke I think is going to be over here. Okay, great. So if we see, we have 5 points. Now, if it was like a hydrangea, you would do 4 points. If you wanted more, like more petals, you could do that. You could do 6 spokes, but 5 I think gets the general consensus. All right, so now literally this is the fun part, is you're still going to start layering your thread around those different spokes, and that's how you're going to create your flower petals. So not going through the same one, but going through a hole right next to it, I will go back through that same middle right here, and I just start layering it until I feel like I get kind of the look of the petal that I like, all back through that same middle hole. So there's one. I feel like that looks pretty good. Now time to move on to the next one. Keep going. Kind of build. When you make something that looks organic, you just kind of like layer and layer and layer, and you know, some are going to look better than others. This just happens. Keep going. Okay. All through. The trick is, as long as you go through the middle, then the same point in the middle, then it looks fine. It'll make your nice little petals. All right, so next, moving on to the last spoke. Sorry, not the last one, second to last spoke. Okay, keep going. And remember not to pull too tight. You don't want to cinch it. And then now we're on the last one, and we should be almost out of our thread at this point. Okay. And then through. Now I take a look at it before I finish it off, and I see if there's anywhere that needs a little bit more. And I think right here there needs to be another one. So put that through. Okay, perfect. All right, so that looks pretty good for a flower. So next thing I'm going to do is I've brought my fabric to the back. So as you see, we have our two tails hanging off right here. Oop, let's get it in the center frame, Kate. So we have our two tails hanging off, right? So what I do, because we kept this tail long, I literally will just tie it in a knot and then tie it in a knot again. And then, so that's secured now, it won't come undone. Just trim your tails. Ta-da! And there you go. That's how you add a cute little flower. And then you can just keep adding, and you can layer them on top. You can put different colors in. You can start adding a vine through them if you wanted to add like a stem on the flowers. But that is a basic flower to your thrifted sweater.